All right, y'all. Today we're looking at this boudoir photography business. We're going to see if it's local search or if its city search has BSS. Also see if it's hitting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google. Nice. So back in the GBC universe, we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. Yeah, more on that pinned video, home video, somewhere around here. And this is because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got the highest intent people over on the left. We got our white FSIC in a graph there. Highest intent people searching for boudoir photo shoot in their city and social search, so searching on social media and on Google. And that's what we focus on here, BSS. That's what our video is here about, the highest intent people. Then way over on the right, we got our sister brand, the lowest intent people, and I would say people that they ain't searching for boudoir photo shoot right now. And basically all of them don't even know what boudoir is. Got to reach them through interruption ads, Facebook and Instagram. And we are, that's our sister brand. We're talking about BLCS over there. The name is Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. And currently we only work with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ad spend. All right, so now to BSS. It's boudoir search sameness. We don't want to have this, but this is what kind of a diagnosis that a lot of people do have. And it means a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0, can't have that. We're dying a quick death if we got 0. That means we're on page 2 and deeper. The reason that's so bad is we know we have the data. Approximately 80% of all Google searches never even hit page 2. So we're visible to approximately 80% of the market. We're dying a fast death. Now, 1 slot on page 1 Google is also not good enough. We're there. There's 9 other slots. So probably 1 other boudoir photographer per slot. So what's a buyer? We don't stand out. We don't look different. We don't look unique. So what's a buyer going to do? They're clicking open every single link, every single website, submitting every single contact form, and they are price shopping us, getting the best deal. Our margins being destroyed, and 1 slot on page 1 Google, that's dying a slow death. So we do not want either of these scenarios. And 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. It's actually a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Everyone accepts it as normal, everyone accepts it as common, but it's not normal. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google search in only 10 days. So I know that's not normal. I mean, something's broken. The foundation is broken. Now, these 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which everyone knows about. Some people get new gear, new iPhone, new camera. They're on their Google Maps profile. They're creating a website saying they shoot boudoir, competing with us for page 1. They are, they're posting them on Facebook groups that they now offer boudoir. So everyone knows that's just kind of natural over time. More boudoir photographers, same number of buyers per city makes it a little bit harder every single day for each boudoir photographer to get clients. Now this new one is the false belief of page 1 equality. A lot of boudoir photographers seems to have always have accepted that. It seems like every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots page 1 on Google. And yeah, I was slot 8 on page 1. Then some new boudoir photographers enter the market. Now I'm page 2. And it's like, well, that's simply how it is. Hopefully they delete their website and Google stops indexing them. So maybe I can get back on page 1. But no, this is 100% incorrect thinking. This is a false belief. What it is actually true is Google will give as many page 1 slots to whoever wants to put in the effort to acquire them. And again, I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 on Google in only 10 days. So this falsely page 1 equality really holds. Actually, it's the #1 killer boudoir photography businesses that I've seen. So this really holds boudoir photographers back. Now we're able to break through it. Next, another boudoir photographer with BSS is a disappearing boudoir photographer. Yeah, I mean, look, dude, if we're on, if we got 0 slots on page 1, then we're on page 2 or deeper. Approximately 80% of the market's never even seen us. We're disappearing a fast death, or we're dying a fast death. And if we got 1 slot on page 1, we look the same as everyone else. We're dying a slow death. Both cases, being a disappearing boudoir photographer is actually it is actually a precursor, kind of a warning signal to our boudoir photography business will eventually disappear as well. That it's a signal that we're going down that path. But luckily, we now have a solution. We have discovered through rigorous testing that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S-cubed methodology. Works exactly as it says, social search saturation. We saturate social search with the highest boudoir buyer intent keywords. So we show up there for those searches. And doing this kind of like the backside of the Andes Mountains, where the snow on top melts into small streams, small rivers. That's social search saturation. And then it all flows into the large Amazon River. And that's page one of Google search. But we got to do the right stuff, saturate social search first to have any chance of being page one of Google search and like having a ton of links there. Now, this is the only solution I've seen for boudoir photographers that can actually, that can actually successfully compete against market saturation and still allow boudoir photography business to grow in relatively fast time. Where the only other option is having a large, well-known brand, but that doesn't satisfy the relatively fast time requirement because that takes minimum 5 to 10 years. And actually, S-cubed methodology, it's one of the things I've seen is I believe it can increase the speed of actually achieving a large, well-known brand by my estimate is 8x. So that imagine using this, having the large, well-known brand, but still utilizing S-cubed methodology, basically be unbeatable. So here's an example here of successfully fighting against market saturation. Let's say we're in San Francisco, there's a million boudoir photographers, we're one of them. Everyone's got their website, saying they shoot boudoir. So everyone's trying to compete page one on Google. And as a result, like, dude, this competition is insane. We got to crank S-cubed methodology up to the max to have any shot at competing in this marketplace. So we do that, and let's say we do it for all the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords across social search. And so what we do is, let's say we're able to take up the first 300 slots for all the highest intent keywords across all social search. As a result, that flows on to Google, and let's say that gives us, the first 300 slots on Google as well. And there's 10 organic slots per page on Google, so we're taking up the first 30 pages. And we already know approximately 80% of buyers ain't even ever hitting page 2. So, they'd have to essentially go to page 31 to find our competitors. So basically, anywhere any boudoir buyer looks, social search or Google search, dude, we're the only ones there. And basically the only ones they can find unless they put in a lot of effort to scroll a lot more pages. And so whose business will be growing? Most likely ours. Whose business will be shrinking? Most likely all the 999,999 other competitors. So again, this is the only thing I've seen that allows boudoir photographers to have a chance to still grow in the face of more and more market saturation. Now, once you're with S-cubed methodology, we have page one visibility. Initial benefit, we get more slots on Google page one. We get another second initial benefit, which is every time we get a new link on page one, we are kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one, effectively making them invisible. This is an awesome benefit because we know page two and deeper, approximately 80% of buyers are never going to find them. We turn them into disappearing boudoir photographers, and eventually they exit the market, and we're no longer price shopped against them. And for approximately 80% of buyers, we're actually stopping price shopped against them because they'll never even go past page one to find these people that we got on page two and deeper. And page one visibility actually is boudoir search visibility for us. So this is where the GBC universe recommends hitting the recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page one on Google. That's because we're going to dominate, look way better than everyone that's got a 1 slot, which will be basically anyone. And in the very, very rare case someone has 2 slots, our 3 slots will still dominate them as well. Now, we also know that boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So this is our micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness. It is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. Thankfully, thank the universe, we now have a solution, S-cubed methodology, which allows us to achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. Now, my results using S-cubed methodology. So I actually wanted to rank for this keyword, BLCS boudoir. I want to dominate page one on Google. I started with 0 out of 10 slots on page one on Google, and I exclusively ran S-cubed methodology. And let's see my results. So here we got organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So anyone looking for this, so I went from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google. And dude, anyone searching this term, obviously I'm going to be the one they're clicking on. I mean, come on. So these are the results I got utilizing S-cubed methodology for myself. So moving on to our main event here, we're going to check this boudoir photography business, see if it's got BSS for local and city search, even if it's in its GBC recommended minimum, 3 out of 10 page 1 slots. So let's go. All right, I'm going to Virginia Beach. All right, that's fine. So let's check this out. Virginia Beach. Boom, we got one. And boom, we got two. Okay. All right, so we got 2 out of 10 for local. So we do not have BSS, but we did not hit the GBC recommend minimum of 3 out of 10 slots. Page 1 on Google. All right, now we're going to go to our city search, Norfolk, Virginia. All right, so let's check this out. So let's see. Let's see if we got any here. Nope. All right, so we're at 0 out of 10. And yeah, city's always harder to rank for than local. So we're at 2 out of 10. Page 1, Google for local. So we don't have BSS for local. We do have BSS for city. But for both of them, we did not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google for either of them. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, you've done your local search, you've done your city search, and you actually see, you've got BSS for either or both of them, or you're not meeting GBC minimum recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 page 1 Google slots for either or both of them. And you're like, all right, you realize you got BSS, you understand page 1 equality, there's a false belief, and you're like, all right, I broke through that. I need to achieve, I need to get as many page 1 Google slots as possible. And you also understand the market saturation with, the new iPhones, more boudoir photographers coming in, new cameras, more boudoir photographers coming in. But you're also looking ahead and you're saying, man, AI is taking a ton of people's jobs. Last time a bunch of people lost their job, COVID, a huge tsunami of boudoir photographers coming in. So you've actually decided, hey, you got to fortify your life right now and actually get as many page 1 slots on Google, which is only a downflow of getting as many page 1 slots on social search for all the social network searches. It's downstream of that. Before all these boudoir photographers come into the market, come into the city, and start making their websites, ranking, competing for page 1, kind of like prepare, kind of like the levees in New Orleans, since the city's below sea level, kind of like build those levees up to prevent floodwaters or the flood of boudoir photographers from taking your market share. And you're seeing, okay, S-cubed methodology is the only solution that can get me there effectively. And you want to achieve page 1 visibility, hit the GBC minimum, recommended minimum of 3 out of 10. Become a visible boudoir photographer, have boudoir search visibility, because you need this on your way to become the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you also know that you actually, there's actually hidden back-end benefits of doing this S-cubed methodology as well we have not talked about yet. First one would be in we're building thematic keyword columns around our brand name, our social handles, our website, and all that. As we do S-cubed methodology more and more, it increases the probability we get actually recommended for AI overviews. Here at the top, premium placement, only 1 slot for local search and city search. And you also want the back-end benefits of every time we execute S-cubed, another day we execute S-cubed methodology, increasing the probability we get recommended through all the AI search engines, ChatGPT search, Claude search, Perplexity search, Microsoft Copilot search, Google Gemini search. These all run on, thematic keyword clusters, authority, age. And so every day we execute the execute methodology, we're increasing that, probably getting recommended there. And we know more, literally, I mean, Google still has, I believe, like 89 or 90% of global search share. But dude, AI search, using more and more and eating into Google every single day. I haven't used standard Google search in literally like a year to actually click websites and open and read stuff. I've always been using the Google AI mode. And so you want these backend benefits. You also decide you want to be the first mover in your city, because you recognize, my current plan is to only work with one person per city on this. So you kind of want to box out your competitors, and kind of achieve all this front end results. More hit the GBC minimum 3 out of 10 on page 1, kick out competitors off page 1, effectively make them invisible to approximately 80% of searchers who never go to page 2, and build these momentum on the back end, which is higher probability AI overview, higher probability being recommended AI search, and higher probability nobody in your city ever catches you. Putting more distance between you and them, by building up this thematic keyword columns attached to your brand for the backend for AI search engines to be recommending into the future. Because I know last time I used Google or ChatGPT to search for boudoir photographers in a city, dude, it only gave me 3. I'm like, what? There's like 60 in this city. It literally only displayed 3. So we want a higher chance of being those 3. And you also know if someone else in your city jumps on this first, they lock you out, well, you're gonna have to derive or figure out SQL methodology on your own. And then you have to go execute it, but you won't be confident executing it because you don't know if you've even derived it correctly to use it correctly. And then you'd have to equal our output with your competitor to just maintain the gap. You'd have to actually exceed our output with your competitor for us, to actually make up ground on us, and kind of take back the momentum that we're building in the back-end AI search and the front-end results we get kicking you off page 1 of Google. So you've decided, screw that. I'd rather be the first mover in my city, give myself the highest chance of blocking out all the boudoir photographers coming from AI. They're going to be forced losing their jobs, but people still got to earn money. And you decide SQ methodology is the solution you want, the path you want to take. So shoot me a DM. Not right now. My DMs are full, or my DMs are closed. The hospital we're not taking any new patients right now. But